Thank you for joining me for Innate Astrology. We're going to take a look at the energy for April 21st through 27th. There will be tarot cards at the end, and we're going to start with looking at Mercury retrograde because that energy will be affecting the entire week and through the 15th of May, technically through May 31st because of the post-shadow energy. So let's talk about what Mercury retrograde is. We know that it affects all of our technology, seems to make everything go haywire. It certainly has for me for the last 2 weeks. Mercury, in Gemini, Mercury rules are intake and export of knowledge. It's a little broadcaster, Mercury is, the messenger. So how we take in information and how we in turn give out information, how we communicate, can be affected. It can make it hard for us to hear others and others to hear us. So keep that in mind as you have conversations. The information we're getting may not be clear or it may not be complete. So it's a time to really be discerning and analyze what we take in and to think slowly and clearly before we give out information. Mars is making several aspects with Mercury, so it can create hasty or overly passionate conversations and communications. So just stop and think for a moment before you give out information, and then give yourself time to analyze the information you're taking in. Now, on a very base level, of course, it also rules all types of travel. So be cautious with your travel. Try not to be in too much of a hurry. Plan where you are not rushing. If you are making trips, check all the details several times. Mercury retrograde isn't something to be fearful of. It's just something to be aware of and know that it can create delays and frustrations and even the little things where if you feel like you're constantly dropping everything at home or you're bumping into everything, all of this can fall into the whole Mercury retrograde energy. Now it's retrograding from 5 degrees 50 minutes, which is Leo but moving into Virgo energy. And it's retroing back to, let's see, it's going to be at 1537. And that's a Gemini degree. So yeah, it's very much going to affect our intake and export of information, how we communicate. But as I've mentioned in other videos, Mercury retrograde gives us an opportunity to revisit how we communicate, to maybe even relearn to communicate in a new and better way for our well-being, and how to take in information from others and process it in a more balanced and analytical way. Now, Mercury is going retrograde in Taurus, so this is very much going to be about our self-worth, how we value ourselves, and how we allow others to value us. It can be about tangible things of value. We may be rethinking and revisiting what we place value on. As I mentioned in the other videos, I believe it is very much about relearning how to communicate to others what we need, what matters to us, and also relearning how to communicate to ourselves about our self-worth. That Aries new moon and solar eclipse energy was offering us an opportunity to really step into who we are at the core, who we know we should be, and start moving in a direction that creates the life that we want to live. It was offering us an opportunity to take back the personal control and power over that creation of the life that we experience. So I think this Mercury there we go, Mercury retrograde is going to help us relearn how to think of ourselves and our value, how to perceive others and their value, and how to communicate as this new version of ourselves that we're stepping into, how to communicate to people as well as ourselves in a way that supports the new boundaries that we're going to be setting in regards to what we need and want, what we place value on, how we allow ourselves to be valued by others, and what we have to offer. So Mercury retrograde, I think, is going to be a positive influence, although it can be pesky and irritating, but it's going to be a positive influence for reshaping this new energy that we are being offered the opportunity to step into, this authenticity and this new life path that we're being given a chance to move down and really start taking control of creating the life that we want. Now, during this, the moon is going to conjunct Uranus. And I think at that time we may have some very sudden epiphanies and realizations, clarity on what we are feeling about our experiences and what really matters, what we really want for ourselves in our experience, and even how to express what we feel even better in this new energy, especially with Mercury retrograde, relearning how to express what we are feeling and needing in a way that gets it across better, that conveys this new energy that we're moving in. It is about the throat chakra, so it is definitely time to speak your truth, as we often hear. But again, we need to stop and really think, get clear, structure that out in a way that really conveys to whomever we're speaking with what our needs are, where we stand, and what we're experiencing. I'm looking at my notes here to make sure that I've covered everything. And keep in mind also that Mercury retrograde is in Venus's sign, and Venus is in Mercury's sign. They are a mutual reception. So they are working together to recreate our communication skills in a way that supports the new energy we're moving into for our individual selves. Help us recreate our own perception of our self-worth and to create new connections in Gemini that are going to help support that new energy that we're starting to present to the world. So they're working together to help us really start to build that foundation, that support structure for this new energy that we're moving into, and get some clarity on how to, as we take control of creating this life that we want for ourselves, how to communicate that to others, how to perceive it for ourselves. So all of it's working together to give us a new perception, to go with this new energy that we're moving into. Okay, let's look at the energies coming up for the week. Get my notes out here. And of course, we're starting with the sun in Taurus. It has moved into Taurus, which again illuminates tangible value, what we find pleasure in, what we value that we can actually touch, taste, feel, the reality of values, valuable things, money, how we earn money. That's being illuminated. And again, Taurus is much about self-worth as well. So that's being illuminated. We are reconsidering that, how we view it, our perspective on our self-worth. Getting balance with that. And again, relearning how to speak to ourselves in regards to that, because that's so very important. What we tell ourselves about our worth and what we have to offer the world will very much create the constructs around that and either restrict us or support us. So relearning how to speak to ourselves about our self-worth and our value and what we have to offer the world. Relearning that in this new mindset, this new perspective, this new energy of the Aries new moon and solar eclipse. Relearning how to do that is pivotal in being able to move forward on this new path that we want to create for ourselves, and really stepping into that personal power of being in control of creating our own life and our experience. Taking that back from any circumstances or individuals that we may have given the power over to at some point. Now, all week we're going to have the Sun conjunct Jupiter, as we have for a while now, which is it's positive energy. It's very expansive. Anything is possible energy. Now, it squares Pluto, which is sextiled by Neptune. Now, what that means is the square to Pluto is helping us take this energy with Sun and Jupiter. And anything we begin, we're able to see it realistically. We're able to make the transformations with a very balanced and realistic view and understanding of what we need and want and what the transformations that are necessary are based in. And it helps make the decisions we are making permanent. The square to Pluto will help us not move back into any energy or experiences that have been not working, that have been unhealthy. That will help make it permanent when we do make decisions and we make moves. That square to Pluto is going to help make it stick and help us stay committed to it. Now, the sextile of the Neptune energy helps us with, that sextile is very positive. And of course, Pluto wants us to see things realistically, and it's about going very deep to get the truth. And Neptune's going to help us with getting some very clear, intuitive information about whatever we're experiencing in our life that we're wanting to make changes in. It's going to help us use our intuition to feel through connections with people, be them new or old, and feel through the changes that we're seeing that we want in our lives. It's going to help us use our intuition and really tune into what we need and want and what way to go. It'll help us tune in and decipher if circumstances and experiences or plans even are good or bad. So give yourself time to just breathe and relax and really tune into that gut feeling, that instinct and intuition if you're having difficulty making decisions or getting clear. That's where the answers are. That's where the guidance comes. Now, Chiron is squaring Mars. So Chiron is, that wounded healer. It's asking Mars to help us find the courage, the desire, and make the moves on starting to, again, let go of the things that have held us back, the past, the old things, the wounds that perhaps tell us we're not enough and affect that self-worth perception that we're trying to rebuild and relearn. And let's see, Pluto, I'm looking again. Okay, we have the North Node also. That Sun Jupiter conjunction. We're going to have the North Node conjuncting the Sun this week and the Moon as they move together. That could bring us a very good illuminating clarity on our emotional perception of what we need and want. It could get us really clear on our feelings, our emotions, what they are, what they're telling us, and how that can connect to our, or guide us towards that North Node path, that destiny path. The Sun is illuminating the Moon. You know, when it's close to the Moon, it's illuminating the things that the Moon represents, which is our emotions, our feelings. And with the North Node there, we could experience moments of great clarity on how we can use our emotions, our feelings, our intuition, the Moon, in a way that leads us in the right direction. Again, that supports that that intuitive energy of Neptune sextiling Pluto and helping us get very clear on what our intuition is trying to tell us. So, on Saturday the 22nd, let me pull up my little screen here. Excuse me. We have the Moon conjunct Uranus. Now that energy, that can be very sudden, intuitive experiences, very unexpected feelings and emotions. With Mercury retrograde, we could be finding ourselves suddenly thinking about perhaps something from the past, and that's where that letting go of things that have held us back or repetitious patterns that are based in the past. We, of course, have to first revisit them before we can let them go. So this Moon conjunct Uranus with Mercury retrograde, that could create an experience for us where we look over the things that stay with us mentally and emotionally, that affect our perception of ourselves and what we can and can't do, and our perception of what we want in our experience. It could have us revisiting these things that have stayed with us and finally being able to move past them, let them go, so that we can move into this new energy of being in control of creating the life that we want. We also have that Moon and Uranus conjunction is squaring Saturn. So that is absolutely about letting go of what has restricted you, what prevents your authenticity, what prevents you from stepping into your power and showing the world the real you. Saturn is about releasing those things that are not good for us. So on Saturday, we could find ourselves having that moment where we're able to say, enough. I have defined myself by this thing from the past for long enough. And now it's time to set some new boundaries, release it, not let it affect me anymore. And of course, the sextile of Neptune is there, so that's Neptune giving us some very helpful and positive energy to use our intuitive skills to get clarity on what we are feeling and what may be affecting us that needs to be let go of, that's from our past and can't move forward into this new energy of the Aries new moon solar eclipse with us. Now all of that's trining Pluto. So again, Pluto's helping us see realistically what we need and what we want, the direction we need to move in, and what's blocking us. It's helping us see realistically what is in our way, what needs to be transformed and released so that we can really move forward into this new energy and take control of what we are creating for ourselves. Now on the 23rd, the moon moves into Gemini, and that is going to conjunct Venus. So very deep thoughts, possibly very emotional thoughts, but very keen intuition. If you're able to clear your mind and take a little time for yourself, you could find yourself getting some very clear and powerful intuitive support for what you are currently experiencing and wanting to change, and getting very clear on how to move forward in this new energy, how to step into the energy of the true you and begin to present it to the world, because that conjunction in Gemini is going to square Saturn and trine Pluto. So again, it's asking Saturn to give us structure, help us release what might interfere with this new path that we are trying to move into, that we want to go down. It's asking Saturn to help us release things that prevent us from being ourselves, from creating the life we want, and to create boundaries that protect that energy. And with it trining Pluto, Pluto's there to say, yep, trine is synchronicity, it's luck. And Pluto, being trined by Pluto in this energy, Pluto's going to say, okay, if you really want it, I'm going to help you make it happen. I'm going to give you some luck. I'm going to show you some things that will help you find your direction. I'm going to give you courage and self-confidence to do it. And we're going to make it permanent. If you really want it, all you have to do is step into it. Take that leap of faith, and we're going to make it happen. All the support you need is going to be there. You just have to trust that you can do it. But of course, if your intuition is going to be very heightened, you're going to know. You're going to feel intuitively with your gut what you need to do, the direction you need to go, what you want. And all of that energy is moving in on Sunday the 23rd. It's here, but it's really going to start to get strong and help you really start to just feel what you need to do. And then the Mercury support of the analytical mind is going to help us structure that in a way that is viable, where we can really start to see forward movement towards what we need to do to get to where we want to be. Now on Monday the 24th, the moon will be it'll be moving to the last degree of Gemini, 29 degrees, which is, of course, that anaretic degree we had the Aries new moon and solar eclipse at. So it's saying, okay, you've been thinking about a lot of things, you've made a lot of decisions, you're moving through a lot of new perception, less get clear, less decide, less trust our intuition and decide what we want to do and what we need to do to move forward. Now Mercury, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all in the respective signs of, well, it'll be Mercury conjunct Uranus and Taurus, Venus in Gemini, and Mars in Cancer are all going to be at 15 degrees in a few minutes. And the moon's going to be between Venus and Mars. Now what this means is Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Mercury, our our mind, are taking in information, and Venus, the things that are our creative abilities and things that bring us pleasure and joy, as well as Mars, our passion and our forward movement. All of those are going to be at a Gemini degree. So our mind's going to be very busy, but it's going to get very clear. Uranus, again, is conjunct Mercury in Taurus, so we could very much have those epiphany moments of realization, or even actual conversations, or hear information that makes us go, aha, that's it. This is what I need to do. This is what has to happen in order for me to get to that place where I am loving my life, Venus, experiencing things that bring me joy and that are prosperous. You know, Venus is money, so it could very much be about sudden clarity on what it is we need to do to move into a place where not only are we enjoying our experience and in control of creating it, but that it is very prosperous for us, that it's bringing us tangible gains. Now on Tuesday and Wednesday, we have energy that is all about finding solutions and having those aha moments, or even conversations or meetings with people that suddenly show us the solution to the problems we're having or answers to our questions. We have the North Node conjunct the Sun. So the Sun is illuminating what we need to do, which way we need to go, what's for us. And that is sextiling the Moon and Mars in Cancer. That's our foundation. That's the feeling of home. That's where we find security. So Mars is giving us the courage, the momentum to make decisions. It's all squaring, it's also squaring, sextiling Saturn. So that means that Saturn is going to show us what has to go in order to move towards this solution that we're finding, and how to make it stable and structured in a way that is real. So the Sun is going to show us, being conjunct the North Node, this is what we need to do. Now, sextiling the Moon and Mars, also with Mercury and Uranus conjunct still, those are those moments where we go, oh, okay, this is it. This is the answer to the question I had. This is the solution to the problem. And again, it could be meeting people or having conversations that bring you to that conclusion. But it is bringing light to solutions to problems that may be preventing us from moving in the direction that we need to and want to go. Same thing's happening on Wednesday, but we have Venus at a Leo degree moving into a Virgo degree. So we are getting creative with our solutions. And we are also using that Virgo analytical mind to separate what works and what doesn't. As well as the Moon is going to move into Leo on the 27th and then into Virgo on the 29th, which again supports suddenly finding the way. If we've had some blocks, things that were not coming together, where we couldn't see how we could move in the direction we need and want to go, how can we start this transformation that's going to get us to where we want to be? On Tuesday and Wednesday, and as we move through even the latter part of the week, we're going to start to have those moments where we go, oh, there it is. There's the answer. There's the solution. Or I could do this. Would this work? And start really getting that Virgo analytical mind going to help us figure out how to move from where we are to where we want to be, how to start this journey, how to get it into motion. So that is our energy for the week. Okay, we're going to take a look at the tarot cards that came out for the energy for this week. I hope to be able to do these more in a live manner as opposed to photographs soon. Okay, for the tarot cards, the message fits perfectly for the energy we're moving into, especially after that Aries new moon solar eclipse. The Two of Wands is telling us it's time to start planning and creating structure. We're finally going to let go of all those things that made us feel stuck with that Devil card in reverse and move away from all of that feeling confined and trapped. Now, that Six of Cups reversed, it's time to let the past go. It's time to get realistic and just really let it all go. Let that devil energy go. Clear your head. All of that's clearing out for all of us. There's a lot of Mars energy here. The first card is Mars and Aries. We have on the second row, we have the Five of Cups with Mars and Scorpio. And the Oracle card is the Tower, which is also Mars. So it's a lot of movement, a lot of passion, a lot of being ready to make some decisions. So the first row is telling us it's time to start planning and taking some action on what we want to change. Let go of the past, let go of feeling stuck and trapped, no victimhood, no blame, just move on. And with the Palace of Cups, that's a place where we have created what we want. That's where we're wanting to get to, as the Palace of Cups. We're wanting to move into that energy where we have really made the transformation, the choices, and are starting to see what we really want for ourselves come together. And it's followed by the Justice card, which is telling us that if we can let go of all these things that we feel have been holding us back and restricting us, let go of the past, let go of any behaviors or thought patterns that keep us from moving forward and finding success. If we can do that, the balance is coming in. The justice is coming in where we can really start to see what we want manifest. And again, the Five of Cups, that's an energy of the cards before. You know, it's time to let go and let new things come in. Be cautious, you know. We have to make our decisions and move forward with analytical and emotional balance. And of course, the Ace of Swords tells us that. The Ace of Swords on the bottom row is telling us that it's time to trust ourselves. We know we can reach that Palace of Cups if we just focus. We have to be honest with ourselves and honest in the experiences that we're having. We're getting clarity. We're seeing the vision that we want for ourselves become clear and come into focus. And of course, the King of Swords in reverse really supports that. The King of Swords in reverse represents an energy of making sure that you are following a routine, you're using reason, you're not making decisions out of emotional stress or anger or fear, that the choices you're making are structured with a healthy balance of what you feel and what your intuition is telling you with what is logical and what is intelligent. And of course, the last card being the King of Cups tells us again we need discipline, we need to structure what we're doing, we need to be considerate of our needs as well as those around us as we make changes. But there's a lot of movement here wanting to get going on what needs to change in our life. And I think we've all felt a little stuck, but that devil energy, that's gonna release, that's gonna let go, where we can finally start seeing some forward motion in regards to what we need to change in our lives to get into a place where we are more in line with what we want for ourselves. And of course, that's the energy that the Aries new moon with the solar eclipse, that's the energy that it was bringing forward to us and offering us. Looking at that, feeling into this and see if there's anything else that Six of Cups is, that Six of Cups is telling me that it's really important to let go of anything that is interfering with your path, your authenticity, what you want for yourself. I think that's the key always to being able to truly move forward with clarity and confidence and see what we really want and how to get there. Now the Pirate card is the Tower. And of course, with any change and transformation, when we start to restructure our lives in a way that's better for us, we always get that Tower energy. And that's in the planetary positions right now. The solar eclipse is a bit of a Tower energy. Uranus being conjunct the North Node is Tower energy. But again, there's a lot of positive energy moving through the universe. So it's there to help us move through these transformations with more confidence, with more ease, without it being so difficult or shocking. Of course, Uranus makes things happen suddenly. That can always be uncomfortable. But if you are getting clear with yourself, if you're trusting your intuition, you're trusting what you know, the universe is going to help you move towards what's best for you. Move out of situations and experiences that are stifling you or holding you back. So overall, it's a positive energy. But it's telling us that it's time to start really structuring our emotions and thoughts about what we want and what we want to do, how we're going to make these moves. And of course, the astrology of the week supports that as well. There is so much happening that's going to help us really get clear, start to create a plan for the changes we want to make that's solid and doable. Sorry, I'm just feeling into this for a moment. I want to get to a place where I don't have the equipment to do these tarot reads live, but I'm hoping to get that going soon. Yeah, it's definitely, the energy is saying to start getting serious about what you are wanting and looking at the options you have that are realistic and how you can move towards that, and start making the changes necessary to make that movement towards creating an experience that feels good and feels like it fits who you're becoming. Okay, well, I hope that all the information has helped you plan how to use the energy that's coming to us over the next 6 days. It helps us whether we know it or not. We don't often feel it happening or realize how much we're focusing on certain things, and then they suddenly come to fruition. And that's the key, to remember that what you are consistently thinking about and working through, focusing on, those are the things that the energy is going to move towards and start to transform. So you have to be purposeful in your thoughts. I try to be very careful how I state things in these videos because I know that what I say can create the thought patterns for anyone who listens, and I want to make sure that everybody is focused on their needs and their well-being. I'm not one that can promote fear or worry within these readings. I have to be honest about the energy that's going on and the messages from the tarot cards, but I try to be careful how I state that because I know that what I say can influence what anyone who listens thinks about over the next few days, and what we think about consistently is what we begin to create. So keep that in mind as you move through these energies, that you need to be a deliberate thinker, a purposeful thinker, and control what you are focusing that repetitive mental energy on, and make sure that it's the things that you want. That's part of these cards telling us we've got to let go of any negativity or old patterns of behavior and thought, because if we continue to roll those over in our head, we're just going to get the same things. It's time to clear our minds and get into a fresh place of what we are focusing on with our mental energy, our intuitive energy, and that psychological energy. And then that helps us move towards that thing that we're consistently thinking of. Again, I hope it has helped you. I hope you'll join me for more videos. I've got lots planned. If Mercury retrograde will cut me some slack and let me get these videos made and uploaded with a little more ease and on time. I have been fighting Mercury retrograde for about 10 days already. Normally I don't have a problem with it because it's retrograde in my natal chart, but boy, this time it is out to get me. Clearly it wants me to relearn, rethink, revisit how I am structuring this and how I am going about creating this business that I'm hoping all of this will turn into. Again, thank you, and I hope you'll join me, and I hope that you have a wonderful week and that the information helps you use the energy that's moving around for all of us in a very positive way that creates success.